Okay guys, so I'm out in front of my house trying to clean out my garage a little bit. You can see my Triumph track bike right there, trying to get the battery back in order. And I think I have a problem with RC. I believe it's an addiction, because I just sort of started laying them out in the lawn and didn't think it would get to this point, but it turns out it did. So I'm gonna give you a walkthrough of my collection that I did not think was this much of a collection. It's a bit overwhelming, to be completely honest. Believe it or not, this is not all of them either. I didn't even go inside the house. This is pretty much just the stuff in the garage and the stuff I had yesterday in the car. But you can see my flying wing row here. Trusty Battle Wing. Gotta have a pair. You can't just have one, you have to have a pair. This is a sort of a scratch build RCG thing that's slightly modified. I just threw some cheap electronics on. Pretty fun to fly. Real light days, obviously. I got my Falcon flying wing. I use this actually for FPV a lot of the time, because you've got the nice magnetic catch right there, and then I actually put a couple magnets on the nose as well, so I can put a GoPro right up front. This plane actually scratched one of my GoPro lenses. Thank you. Good, nice Turnigy metal gear servos in the wings. That helps a lot actually with precision. One of my first combat slopers, beat up, like unflyable practically now. I think it's an original Zaggy actually from good 12, 15 years ago. Then we got one of my faves. It's filthy right now because it got stuck in a ravine off the cliff, and we had to basically throw rocks and mud and stuff at it to get it out. Thanks, Pat. Here's a flying plank that, well, we'll take away the flying part. It's a plank and it doesn't fly. It was one of my first full hot wire attempts, and the wing panel is actually really nice, and it's a really nice airfoil. Turned out very well. It's nice and covered and sparred, so I think I'll end up taking that little stub nose off and taking the tail off, and maybe this will be my wiffle ball bat fuse plane. Next up, 48-inch. It's a B2 combat sloper. One of the best planes out there, to be honest. Sort of the little brother to this guy. B2, and then Queen B. Scout B, not the Queen B. Scout B. I keep thinking that. Yeah, great plane. I have it set up really cool too, because there's no, aside from where the servos come out, there's no like battery hatch access. So there's nothing to fall out. This is actually how I turn it on and off and charge. A little stereo jack. So I just plug my JST in to charge, and when I unplug the stereo jack, it turns the system on. When I plug the stereo jack in, it turns into a charger port and it disconnects the system. So when you have your charger plugged in, that's what's completing the circuit until you go like that. Pretty sweet actually. I want to do that to my big wing. Next up, we got a Weasel. It's a Dreamflight plane, and it's great. Just, there's not a whole lot to talk about. It just flies well in a lot of different conditions until it gets too heavy. But it's a limited edition black. Next up, on the next row, Cloudsfly AXN, classic, great plane. Talked about that in a previous vlog. This is a Mini Moa. It's an Arctic plane. Hobby King sells it. Actually, a fun plane. A really fun plane. Does a lot of really good high-speed passes, a little bit of wing flex, but it doesn't really throw it off track. Motor will overheat, so I might get that back up and running and reinforce it and put a big fat motor in it for some high-speed stuff. It's ridiculous turning a Mini Moa into a high-speed plane, but I might do that. EPP FPV, good setup actually. I never had any real trouble with this guy. It has a couple weird tendencies if the CG's not right, but hopefully I'll get some FPV gear on that one. The old one. This is actually an old kit build. It's been in my room for a long time, just hanging up. And it's a gasser, doesn't have any servos. Was given to me by a neighbor that got me into RC when I was like 6 maybe, started. But I may do an E-conversion and get this back in the air. Hasn't been flown for 20 years at least. Cool plane though, nice build. My Yak 55 profile, beautiful plane. my best flying 3D plane I've got, believe it or not. It's a profile, and I really want to get a couple more full fuse 3D planes, but yeah, they're a little pricey, tough to set up. Kind of don't want to invest the time right now. Discus launch glider. This is called a Neos. It's an amazing plane, so much fun. I highly recommend DLGs for people. This thing's in a bit of disrepair. P51. Yeah, gotta fix it. It's kind of a weird setup. I'm not too convinced on the quality, to be honest. But you know, it's better than falling apart in my garage. I might as well disintegrate in the air. Little mini pits. This was actually one of my first Hobby King planes. Cool plane, interesting, has some funny little stall tendency, as you'd expect from sort of a warped wing biplane like that. Next up, we got 2 fun fighters and a micro torsion that Horizon makes. Here's my decapitated Easy Star, one of my original planes, and I don't know where it was decapitated. Might have been Hawaii. I actually shipped this thing out there, but all the servos and everything are in, so I don't know. What do you think? Cram a GoPro on the front end? Weigh it down? I'll figure something out. Maybe I'll just rip all the electronics out. A10 Warthog, another Artec plane. It's EPS, so it will shatter pretty easily if you hit it hard, but still a nice plane, and flies really, really well on a 2200 3-cell. Let's go into the dark here. Now, some of the older guys, leave in the comments. I'm not exactly sure what this is. I think it's a Super Cheetah, but it's not even a fiberglass fuse. It's like a plastic injection, like a nylon injection fuse, and it's bizarre. It's an ancient sloper, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. It's a balsa sheeted wing, and one of my best friend's fathers used to do a bunch of slopers, and he built this back in the day as a kit, and was about to throw it out, and I grabbed it and dusted it off. I've got servos on the wings, servos on the tail, and I think I'm gonna try to resurrect this guy. Next up, I got a Canary. Some people know it as a Kyosho swing, I believe. Not the fling, but the swing. Wings falling off. But that is actually a really good plane for light days, or where you're just sort of managing micro slope. This thing will fly on nothing. Got that Speedo or Wraith thing. Shadow's annoying me. Speedo or Wraith. You saw that fly in one of the videos too. Quick, agile, sloper. Zip 55, I flew that last night, crashed it, broke the spar and nothing else. I nosed in from 15 feet and fantastic. That's dhaderotech.com. My buddy Kevin makes those. The baby brother, Zip 33. This is my special one. I did the fancy paint job on. You got the flames on the front end. Got the airbrush out. Yeah, Zip 33. Real nice, real small. Doesn't fly quite as well as the 55, which is pretty common for slopers. Normally you want a little more wing area. But still, I mean, beautiful for its size. It's ridiculous. Zip 33 version 1. So that's the version 2, that's the version 1. This actually has motion in the tail. So you got elevator in the tail. This guy is a fixed tail, but both magnetic wings and, you know, full wing around. This guy, another little brother, same company, Zerotech. It's a Zip 22 ES, so it's got a little hotliner motor on it for its size. It's a hotliner. Runs on 2-cell, 6 amp ESC. Can do pretty close to 60 miles an hour. Next up, the Minivac, RCRCM Minivac. This is a fantastic plane in a lot of ways, and a nightmare plane in a lot of ways. The build is a bit of a nightmare, as is true with most composite slopers, but it has some cool features. It's a 6-channel, full flaps. You can dump to 90 degrees. It's got a full flying tail, so the entire tail actually moves. It's not just surfaces at the back end. It's the entire tail moves. The elevator moves, but I don't know, I've had some problems with it. It's almost a symmetrical airfoil, which is good for flicking it around and doing inverted and stuff like that, but to be honest, like, if I'm going to be flying a composite, I want it to be just fast and smooth, and this is smooth, but it's not that fast. So, not my favorite. I think I'll maybe pick up something else in the future. Yep, but I just wanted to share with you my ridiculous collection of planes. This is a long video, and I'm just blown away by the amount of planes. And honestly, I think I have probably 10 more inside the house, maybe more than that, but nothing of note really, just little foamies here and there. So thanks for watching, guys. You have a great day. Bye.